All right. Um, Bit of an interesting one today. Some days you just you start doing stuff and it's different. So I started off, drawing a box. Thought that'd be all right. Yeah. Um, don't normally get so involved with doing boxes, but yeah. And then I had all my great ideas. So I'll have a big arc going through the top, a couple of triangles, and I'll have more boxy forms. Yeah. And like it not being how I'd normally go about things, stuff goes a bit differently, which is it's not bad. It's not like it's just different. So anyway, there were two of them sitting on chairs, and I saw them sitting on the chairs, and I thought, that's nice. And like it all got very complicated very quickly because you're doing two figures, and then you've got the interaction between them, and then you've got getting the proportions right on both of them, and then they both had dolls with them, and so it took a long time just to block in the guides of what you put where. And one thing which was handy was having the chairs, because putting the two chairs in, you could at least say, okay, well, if the chairs are there, they've got to sit on them, so you should be okay. We'll see what happens. It reminds me actually from when I was back in art school, and the teacher had us drawing tables for a week, just looking at tables every day, drawing tables. That was hard going, that. But it was uncomfortable, but you did it. And anytime you meet anyone who went to Liverpool Art School, you can say, "Did you draw tables?" And they look at you with glazed over eyes and say, "Yeah, I did." Anyhow, so I'm trying to get the hand there and just seeing how that comes in together. There was that much going on, with all the forms. I've kind of left some things a bit flat, but got the doll in, and yeah, we're going to see when the big reach comes in, and when she's got her hand up. So that's the thing, the gestures in it. It was like, well, is he going to be pulling her hair out? Is he just touching on the head? How does she react? And when you're observing a live situation with children, it is very interesting how young children interact with each other. Well, what's too much? And obviously then when you come to do a drawing as an interpretation, what you think, what you see, what your drawing comes out like, tells a very particular story and is a very particular interpretation of that situation. So whatever expression I decide now to put on her face is gonna tell the story. And I didn't want it to be a horror story, but I mean I don't know what I really wanted to do, but again, very interesting. And it's very interesting observing the reactions and interactions of the children. But I like the big arc that goes through it, and again, got a little doll there. We were both just sitting there with dolls, doing what they were doing. It was exciting doing something as complicated as this. So you don't normally spend this much time, doing bits and bits and bits and bits of things. Yeah. But that leg cuts in front, and then there's another leg that's behind. The doll's in front of the leg, the hand's in front of the doll, and so there's perspective going back, putting fingers in there. Alright, is what it is. I'm wondering what I'm going to do about the girl's face. This is the thing, you can avoid stuff, just like, I'll do that later. That's probably going to be hard going. I'll just draw some more legs. Aye. Alright, some shoes. And then, see, the guides are there, which are very helpful to give, the stool is basically, the chair is basically a big block. And of course, then the children have to fit into that block. So, doing something this complicated, having a guide like that to say the stool's this big, that's how big you're going to have to work with. Alright, yeah. Otherwise, it could get a bit crazy, and then like your proportions go all out, and what starts being reasonable on the left side and what's reasonable on the right hand side, when you look at the whole thing together, it can descend into madness. But it's actually just nice, like, that they can just sit on a chair and, like, talk to each other and play with each other, and they've got like their own little game going on, being parents. It is nice, like, those are the best games, observing the real world, and playing with pans and driving cars, and looking after dolls. Alright, so that's all done. When you're going to do the face? Come on, put the face on. She doesn't look happy, does she? Oh well.